Hi, welcome to the Wisdom Years. I'm Wayne Morrison. When my daughter, my youngest daughter, was very young, she developed a condition that we had no idea what to call and what to do about. Later on, they would call it anxiety disorder, but this was very long ago. And back then, nobody really knew what was happening to these kids or adults. Basically, she could not leave the house. She would not leave the house of her own accord. And in order to get her to school, I would have to physically pull her into the car and push her out of the car. And all school days she would basically spend with the school nurse. She couldn't leave the house. I couldn't get her to go into a building. We were prisoners as well, because my wife and I stayed home for 6 months because we didn't know what else to do. Finally, one night, we three, her name was Sarah, is Sarah, my wife Kathy and I huddled on a couch. And we had never done this before. We weren't a religious family, we weren't a demonstrative family, but we held hands and prayed that Sarah would be healed. And Sarah began to cry, and I suspect Kathy and I both cried a little as well. Shortly thereafter, I don't know how many days, but a few, a flyer was left in my work box, and it was about a woman named Ada. Ada came and essentially cured Sarah. She forced her to walk out the door on the first day. She traveled pretty good distance because Sarah couldn't go there. And from there we got to the mailbox. And from the mailbox we got down the street. And eventually we got off the street, out of the state, and even into other countries like England. She now leads a full, productive life in Florida. She's very happy. She has children and a very good husband. And all of this led me to think about a movie in the 1970s that was called The Boy in the Bubble. This was a movie based on a boy who literally couldn't function outside of a sort of plastic spacesuit that was built around him because his immune system failed in every regard. It just seems so wrong to not be able to communicate with people one-on-one in nature and do the things most of us have had the opportunity to do. In a sense, all of us are the boys and girls, the people in the bubble. We refuse to leave our little places in the world. We cling to it like it's the only reality we have, when in fact, there is a far greater reality beyond the world. And so here's hoping you pop the bubble and I pop the bubble too. Thank you very much. Please consider following.